Hello and welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Caitlin McKenzie and today I'm joined by some brilliant members of the Giraffe team. We've got Senior Social Media Manager Dom.
Hello.
Social Media Assistant Chloe.
Hi.
And Social Media Manager Nicole.
Hello.
So today's episode is like a very special revamp of our coffee break format. Usually we spend this episode still kind of talking about an area of social media, but we realized that this was low-key fake news because on real coffee breaks, you don't tend to talk about algorithms. Am I right? So on this episode, we're going to be chatting about everything and anything else, starting with, of course, as per usual, our beverages of choice. So what is in your mugs, guys? Dom, what are we working with?
Standard instant coffee.
Does that mug say the boss?
It does. Because I am.
Fair play. How about you, Chloe?
I am drinking a ginger infused tea, which I picked up from Tesco the other day because I'm a ginger fiend, in this Star Wars mug that my partner's parents gave me for my birthday. So shout out to them.
That is so cute. How about you, Nicole?
Well, I feel really boring today because I don't know about anyone else, but I go through a few phases of what I like to drink, and now I'm trying to up my water game. So I am just on water,
Sure.
but it's for a good cause. I want better skin.
It's for a good cause. Yeah. I love that so much. Well, I was late to this podcast, and I'd like to show you why.
Oh wow!
For anyone listening instead of watching on YouTube, I have a mini Bodum cafetiere because I'm that extra, and it's not quite ready to plunge yet, but that will happen, live in the action. So it's just very exciting. So we've all got something we want to talk about that's, on our minds this week, or something that we're interested in and just need to share with anybody, and you guys are the lucky listeners. So Dom, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I would like to talk about a documentary that I watched on Netflix called My Octopus Teacher. Have any of you seen it?
Ooh.
No,
but I am looking forward to this explanation.
I have seen it, and I really liked it. But yeah, fire away.
Yeah, it's. So I've only recently watched it, and it's so good. So basically, it's about this filmmaker who is sort of burnt out, work's really stressing him out. So he decides to stop working completely, and he goes to South Africa, and he just starts diving. And while he's diving, he's doing this for like a year or so, I believe, and then he ends up sort of seeing this octopus, and is quite curious to what this octopus is doing. So he ends up getting his camera and he just starts filming it. And he ends up just going out there every single day for like over a year, and he'll film this octopus. And what's brilliant about it is that, I don't know, you just learn to love this octopus because it's just so amazing what they do. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't know a lot about octopuses. But he sort of just ends up building this sort of connection with this octopus, and you start seeing this octopus just start trusting him and gradually gets closer to him, and to a point where the octopus is literally like on his hand. It comes up to his chest and he's petting it. And he's like obviously viewing it in its little like den, I guess. And yeah, I won't give too many spoilers away, obviously, but it's a bit of an emotional one, I have to say.
Did you
That does sound like quality,
do.
wholesome content. Like
It is very wholesome because, there's a little bit of a spoiler, but octopuses don't live for that long. So
I was shocked. I thought they were like, like lived for 20 years or something.
Yeah,
they do not.
They do not.
No. Tell me this octopus doesn't die in this movie.
I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, guys.
But there is like there's a lot of like highs and lows, right? Like there's
yeah.
He has a lot of predators in his environment, and he's very clever. And because this filmmaker, he like basically discovered new stuff about octopuses, didn't he? Like where the octopus like gathered all these shells around it to like completely hide itself in shells. It held like 100 shells or something, so it couldn't be seen. Just a really clever little guy. Yeah, I really liked it too, Dom. I thought it was really moving. I thought there was a few moments where the guy just like loved the octopus. I don't want to say too much,
Oh.
but no, not like too much. But you can tell it was his whole life. He just
Aw.
openly says that he couldn't stop thinking about this octopus. Couldn't wait to get in
Yeah.
the water. Like it changed his life completely, and
Yeah.
which is amazing. I'm not being fair, but because I would be exactly the same, I'm sure. But yeah, and it's a beautiful documentary as well, isn't it? You just sort of get
Yeah.
immersed in this underwater world for I think an hour and a half, something like that.
Yes, around that, and you could say it has a sad ending, but it's sad, but then within reason, because it's really when you understand the reasoning behind sort of them not living for too long, it's quite nice, and you sort of respect the octopus a lot more.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say it's like there is a happy ending. I think I want to say.
Yeah, definitely there is a happy ending. Obviously, it's
for the humans and animals. So many levels.
Sold.
But I definitely encourage everyone to go out and watch it.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's very good.
Awesome. Well, you guys, like, do you have any other Netflix obsessions or anything you've watched recently?
Ooh, I don't know if anyone's watched it, but I have to get round to watching Emily in Paris.
Oh, I
Has
really
anyone
want to
seen
as well.
it?
I need
Because
to watch
it's
that.
either like the best series of all time or the worst series of all time, and there's no in between based on the reviews. So
I've just
Yeah.
seen people just absolutely slamming it, and for that reason, I must watch it. I think I saw a tweet, so I can't validate whether or not this is truth or not, but apparently she turns up to her first day at work in France and she's wearing like an Eiffel Tower t-shirt and she gives a lecture about social media, but she only has 48 followers. I don't know, something like that. And I just am hooked. I need to see what else this girl does next.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Not sure if it'd be your thing. Well, I posted in our little Teams group chat the other day about Schitt's Creek, and have any of you guys watched it?
I've watched a few episodes,
Okay.
but never fully.
Sure. Well, I think a lot of people have done that because everyone says like the first 4 seasons you just sort of have to do the work, get through it, and then season 4/season 5 it gets really good. And as a person now on season 6, I can completely vouch for that. I didn't mind the first 4 episodes. I quite like having something chill to watch, like when I'm brushing my teeth, and it's just 20-minute episodes, so it goes real quick. But yeah, I'm on to the final season and it's just excellent telly. Like it's so good. It's so like emotional and funny and just great. So I really recommend it. And I don't begrudge that I watched 4 seasons before it got like amazing, because it was just fine before. It was enjoyable, funny, ironic humor. But yeah, the end's really good. So I'm happy to report back. It's worth the effort.
Okay. Do you then know any reason why it's gotten better? Was like a different writer or new cast members or?
No, the cast members stay the same. I don't know, actually, to be honest. There could have been a new writer. I'm going to look into that, I think, for just my own interest. But no, I think by that point you're just really invested in all the characters and all of their storylines are just coming to a head. So yeah, there's a lot of like big things happening, and yeah, it's just really exciting.
Cool.
It's getting me through lockdown. How about you, Chloe? Was there something you wanted to bring to the coffee break this week?
There is, but I feel like I'm going against the grain here because it is about algorithms with a touch of entertainment in it. But over the weekend, James Charles, the beauty guru, had a little rant on Instagram about Instagram and basically how it's screwing everyone over. And it's the only platform now that has just completely ignored its users and continued to throw out useless features, all the while not changing the one thing that everyone's asked them to change, which is the algorithm. And basically at first I kind of rolled my eyes at him because he was saying, I used to get 3 million likes on all my photos and now I only get 1 million likes. And I went, oh, James. You really are.
Must be a nice problem to have.
Exactly. But then he went on to say, it does affect, if that's how it's affecting my business and, how I run my social media and I'm not getting, work because of it. Imagine how it's affecting smaller businesses and smaller creators, which I thought that's so true. But I thought it was really interesting that even, at peak performance, getting that caliber of likes and, viewership, he's still like losing out on business opportunities because of the Instagram algorithm, which I just thought was so crazy.
Yeah, that is mad. No,
Yeah. It's good for him to point it out as well, because like you said, for him, I mean, I'm sure that he's still doing really well for himself. But it's good the fact that he pointed it out, for smaller influencers, smaller businesses that, who will be affected by this a lot more than he is. So it's good for him to point that out, especially, and just to make everyone aware of it. Who knows? Maybe he will encourage Instagram to do something about it.
Well, that's actually what he was saying. He said, I actually have quite close relationships with a few people that work at Instagram, and he's like constantly questioning them and going like, what is going on? Like, why are you not listening to the people? Like, that's the whole point of social media, is that they, adjust and make arrangements based on what the users want to see. And it just seems like for years now, Instagram has been ignoring that. And I think with other social media apps on the rise, he was saying, people are going to lose interest. People are just going to move on to the next big platform. So yeah, super, super cool to like watch, but also kind of like,
I think it's so meta. Like he's on Instagram complaining about Instagram, and like, I mean, I think it's good that it's allowed to happen. It shows that it's not a completely like Big Brother thing. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like taken down or something. Yeah, but weird. I wonder if it will affect change. I feel like you usually get like a bit of a domino effect, and you'll probably see other people come out and talk about it soon.
Yeah, it reminds me of all the YouTubers who were sort of not complaining, but sort of discussing the whole monetization issues a few years ago, and how there was a bunch of issues with ads and creators weren't getting as much, and all of these big people came out and they were able to make some sort of change. And I think there's been, probably in every industry, sometimes you just need the bigger guys sometimes to speak out in order to actually make change. So hopefully something good will come out of it.
Yeah. It sounds like he's made... Oh, sorry, Dom.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like he's made a bit of a splash, because I know I've spoken to Nicole and Dom individually about it, and you both said that you've seen it like on LinkedIn or on Twitter, and even though I think he did post it on Twitter and Instagram, but to see that it's kind of made a splash everywhere is quite good to see.
Yeah, I was going to say, moving away from social media, but staying on James Charles, didn't his ex like steal from him?
No, that's Jeffree Star.
Oh,
Not your boy influencer.
I feel like we need a whole podcast series to tackle the makeup Instagram influencer scene.
My mistake. One person.
I remember there being like a huge scandal with him at the center of it, but I feel like my brain has just rejected that information. Like, I cannot recall what it was.
Oh, I could.
James,
have you got time, guys?
Yeah, it's long.
He's always part of scandals, isn't he? I always see like there's other YouTubers that will do like a diss video on him.
I think it's like a massive jealousy thing. Like, I think he just like has risen to fame so like quicker than anyone has, and then even after this massive downfall that he had, within, I think it's only been a year, he's got even more followers than he did pre-scandal. So it's definitely, I think, a case of he is like YouTube's golden boy, and a lot of people are not happy about it. But I live for the drama, so
me too. I love like seeing things on Twitter, especially like drama scandals, and I'm not even aware of the influencers involved or if it's like public figures, and I just go deep. I like scroll those threads. I need to know everything about it. So yeah, very great diversion. Well, don't worry, because my talking point that I wanted to say was also social media related. Apparently, we just can't get away from it, Chloe. But mine was just really wholesome content, which I just wanted to make sure you and anyone listening has seen. It's it was the TikTok by an American man skateboarding and drinking cranberry juice to just like headline it, and it was just the best thing. Have you guys seen the TikTok, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was so wholesome, and I just love what's come of it. And I just think we needed a reminder of like what's good about social media, because I mean, the social media dilemma came out recently, and it's quite hard to stay positive sometimes. But yeah, the guy's name was Nathan Appadasha, and like, I think that I did a little bit of digging. Like, his truck broke down, and he had to go to work. He didn't have time to get it jump started. Forgive me if I'm getting any of these facts wrong. But yeah, so he just like had his skateboard, had his cranberry juice, jumped on it, made a little TikTok singing Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, and he said he was even going to delete the TikTok before he posted it, because he was like, oh, I'm not skateboarding fast enough, no one's going to like it, which just I know, it breaks my little heart. But yeah, it went massively, massively viral and led to, I think, Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. He recreated it. I was watching the news recently and like they had him and Mick Fleetwood just like on a video call, just explaining like how much of big fans they were of each other, which was so nice. And also, I mean, quite rightly so, the CEO of Ocean Spray, the cranberry juice brand. I mean, you could not buy that kind of publicity. Like, you could not sit down in a boardroom and be like, right, someone's going to skateboard and drink our cranberry juice, and that's going to be viral marketing for us. Like, so he's done them a favor because even just for all the people that have gone out and recreated it. So, yes,
yeah, I saw a picture of like a supermarket and the store with all their juices. It was literally completely empty. Like they're all sold out.
Do you know what that reminds me of? Do you remember a few years ago at the Oscars, that picture of that girl that went viral, and she was just, I guess you could say she was a waitress, but her job was to hold like bottles of water on a tray to give out to the celebrities, and that went viral, and it was like a branded water. I forget who it was now, but they have just like Fiji water, yeah. And they just like profited off of it. Like that reminds me of that situation.
Yeah, they just can't predict it. Well, they said thanks to him. They could probably said a bigger thanks looking at it now. But they sent him this truck. They sent him this like bright red truck, the same color as the cranberry juice. And like the bed of the truck was just full of cranberry juice. And this guy's obviously just made up because he just hopped on a skateboard one day. So yeah, I think a nice bit of good news to come from the social media world, which we could, always do with a dose of. How about you, Nicole? What's on your mind this week?
I've just been thinking about Halloween. For people actually watching, I'm wearing a Halloween themed jumper. I know it's going to be different this year, but I think Halloween is so fun. It's a nice spooky time. So I just wanted to ask you guys, are there any like Halloween traditions you guys have or you really like? I personally love the chocolate covered apples, on the sticks that they do this time of year. Love those. Anything in Australia? Is anything different around Halloween?
I must say, like, Australia is quite a American-centric country. Like, I think we do follow a lot of, like, American tradition, but Halloween's not that big. I mean, yeah, like, people do it, but it's not, I've never seen, even here in the UK, like, the capacity that is, like, the way the Americans do it. Sorry, I couldn't speak there for a second. But yeah, it's quite like October's quite hot in Australia, and it is like a lot of people do go out and do trick-or-treating because like we do have quite nice little like family streets, so it's quite cute. But no, it's nicer being here. This is going to be my second October in the UK. To actually have a season other than summer is nice. And to see the leaves change and to actually be able to like go to like pumpkin festivals is my new favorite thing. So I'm quite devastated that may not happen this year. Yeah,
we're all moaning that it's getting colder and you're literally like loving life.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I live for winter and for autumn now.
We don't really like celebrate it. Like my family have never really celebrated it. And I mean, I've been to my my fair share of Halloween parties and done a fair bit of fancy dress. I remember like when I was a kid, like trick-or-treating was so exciting. I mean, I was allowed to go, but none of my close friends were allowed to go. So I remember just having to be like this secretive like mission leader, ringleader, be like, right, we're all going to tell you're going to tell your mum you're doing this, you're going to tell your mum you're doing this, and we're all going to go trick-or-treating for 45 minutes straight after school. Like, get your costumes in your school bags. And then that was the best. I miss coming home with a bag full of sweets that were free. Why isn't that an option for adults?
I know.
Yeah, to be fair, I did quite a lot of trick-or-treating, obviously, as you do when you're a child. I remember doing it with my friend when I was in secondary school. I think I was about maybe 14. And me and him just went around with just a mask. And obviously when we knock on doors, there, people would be standing there with sweets, but then sort of giving us a weird look like, surely you're too old for, and not really wanting to give us the sweets, but then just doing it, because they felt, that they had to.
Yeah.
That was such a sad like border to cross, right? Like once you realize, it's not cute anymore.
Yeah. Especially when you go around just a mask and like just normal clothing, I suppose.
Just the bare minimum.
I love how there's such a fine line between that, like being acceptable and being really unacceptable. like basically a young man knocking on the door in a mask, like,
No, I think the best thing about Halloween now, for the past couple of years, I've tried to, like, now that we're on the other side of not being able to trick or treat, I'm like, right, I'm going to like decorate the house and I'm gonna have so much candy. And I've done it the past few years. And first of all, my boyfriend gets really frustrated because I make us do all of this, and then as soon as anyone knocks on the door, I'm terrified and I can't answer. Even though it's like kids, I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, so my boyfriend always has to like give out the candy. But the best bit is that no one ever really comes. And I don't know if that's just been like where I live, or I don't, maybe because it's Australia and it's not as big, but no one ever comes. So I'm just left with a big bucket of candy and I'm like, oh, what can I do but eat this now? Like, and now I know that no one's going to come and I still do it anyway, just so I have an excuse to eat an entire bucket of like sweets.
That's the same for me though. Like, no one ever comes to our house. I don't. Might be because we turn off all our lights and shut all the curtains. Maybe that's the reason why.
Why do we think it's so unapproachable? Like,
when I was younger, my mum used to go all out. She used to make these you know, you could put like water in a glove and then freeze it, and then you'd have like a spooky ice hand and like buckets outside. And she used to put like little graveyard tombs in the garden and stuff. And I mean, we were probably the weird house on the street, but it was just so much fun. And I have memories of like kids from school knocking on the door and me like hiding, being embarrassed. But I miss that now. I'd give anything to have that. It's so fun.
Do you think trick or treating will like happen this year because of COVID?
Nah.
I've heard things on the street where I'm out
From the kids.
Yeah. Well, not. I'm like, kids, are you trick or treating this year? No, like I was sitting next to one lady and her family, and she was saying, "Oh, you know, we're probably not doing trick or treating because of COVID, but we're having a massive house party, like with all the neighbors' kids." I'm like, but is that better? So I don't know. I can hear like when I pass people on the street like talking about trick or treating, but I am interested to see if it goes ahead. Hey,
I'd
Might do, to be fair.
Yeah, I'd love to see really innovative social distancing solutions, like
Yes.
pulley
like a little levy system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With like sweets like that drop off 2 meters, or like you come to the door and they're like, well, look in the spooky cauldron. Although in that case, you just take the spooky cauldron, actually, wouldn't you? So that might not.
That's true.
Who knows? Can any of you guys like carve a pumpkin? I feel this is
I can't say I've ever tried.
It's really hard. I feel like it's important people know how hard it is to carve a pumpkin.
It is, especially when you make the bad decision of getting like the biggest pumpkin, because you're like, yeah, I want to be really good, and then you're like, oh dear, what have I done?
Discovering it's not hollow.
Yeah.
What's your go-to like jack-o'-lantern design?
Ooh, you're gonna love mine, Chloe, because it's actually Darth Vader.
Oh yes.
I just have a knack.
Tricky, right? I can imagine. Is that tricky to carve?
There's some like specific lines that you can't cut out, and I have cut out before, and I've like shoved a cocktail stick in there to like recreate the structure. But yeah, I'll share a pic. But yeah, it's kind of hard to do, but I mean, it's the only one I've ever tried, and I got it right, so I just do it every year.
Don't want to brag, but I kind of nailed it.
How about you, Nicole? I feel like you've tried it.
I just go for the classic spooky sort of scary mouth. I got some little like peg teeth from Poundland last year, so I like put in the teeth and it had scary teeth, which was quite fun. But yeah, it's so hard to do any kind of design. I'm very impressed. It's not easy.
So next thing we've got to do today, guys, is gonna have to edit that out. That was weird. So we're going to do a new segment today, guys. Very exciting. We are going to look back in time. How mysterious. Because obviously in the future, we're going to look back on today and be like, oh, of course, that's the day that we recorded that episode of the Giraffe Social Media podcast. Obviously, this day's going to be magical for us. But I'm curious, what were you guys doing on this days, or in Time Hop, or in your photo memories back in time?
I hate you for this, Caitlin. The worst part of my day every day is when Facebook notifies me on this day and I have to read all my cringy 15-year-old I'm in love with a boy posts.
Oh man, yeah, me too. I mean, I like that we say we have to. We can definitely don't have to do
Yeah,
that.
just opt out.
I always feel like it's a really great time to just review my behavior online because I'm like, what if I posted something really embarrassing? I'm like, this is the cancel check. Like,
Right, I'm always like, if I was really famous, could someone dig through my previous post and cancel me? That's very important for people to do.
Absolutely. So, has anyone got any good ones?
Yeah, like to be fair, mine's not that bad actually. Apparently, I was in Plymouth 7 years ago on this day watching a football match. Obviously, it must be in Portsmouth versus Plymouth. And apparently, back on the beers, round 2. So
Nice.
yeah.
Ooh, I've got a good one. On this day 1 year ago, I was at my auntie's house and she bought a puppy. She bought a little Westie.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Cute. For me, 3 years ago, I was posting pictures from the night before where I was dressed up as a monkey for a night out at Pop World. Portsmouth people probably be aware of the Purple Wednesdays that students have.
Classic.
And it must have been some kind of animal themed event.
Hopefully.
I hope so, yeah. That was mine.
Okay, well, that is all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for listening. Please connect with us on all major social channels and let us know what you thought about any of the things we talked about today. Have you seen My Octopus Teacher? What is your go-to pumpkin carving? We would love to know the answers to all of those questions. We've been Giraffe Social Media. You've been amazing. We will see you next time.